Hey, a new study ranks 3 New England areas, including the city of Boston, among the top 10 hottest housing markets of 2026. The study is by real estate company Zillow, and experts say several key factors played a role, including affordability and housing market competition. WBZ's Paul Evans spoke with one of those experts to learn more about how they broke things down and what it means if you want to buy a home soon.
It feels like what's happening to Greater Boston is like what happened to Greater New York City in the 70s. You know what I mean? Like the outer bands around Boston are becoming more and more desirable than they used to be long ago. Would you say that?
I think there's definitely some similarities, right? There's this old adage that history doesn't repeat, it rhymes.
Yeah.
And there's some truth that, at certain periods, it's very trendy to live downtown, and that fits for a lot of people's lifestyles. And then,
Right.
when you want to hit that phase of more space or room to raise kids, and you're in that next phase of life, then suddenly the suburbs and exurbs are starting to look pretty attractive.
Yeah, in the 50s and 60s, the suburbs were the thing, and now living in Boston, it is one of the top 10 hottest housing markets for this year. So let's talk about some of those factors. I know 3 New England locations are on your list: Hartford, Connecticut, and there a typical home is just under $400,000. So let's talk about the Hartford, Connecticut situation.
Yeah, so they were leading the pack in terms of the nation and New England.
Yep.
And what we did was taking a step back, we looked at a bunch of different factors that shape what a hot market can be, right? We looked at home value appreciation last year and where we expect it to go this year. We looked at how fast homes are selling.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at the average share of listings that have a price cut or that are that are sold above list. And then we looked at job growth, right? And all of these things give you a good sense of momentum. And Hartford stood out. It was very, very strong on all those areas, both for New England and for the country, because there's not that much inventory and there's a lot of demand.
Do you think it's a good sign for the New England housing market overall?
I think if you're a seller, it's going to be a easier year to sell. I think if you're a buyer, you're going to come in and be prepared, and you might have to move quickly to get that dream home.
Yeah. Let's talk about Boston specifically. We ranked the 7th place on the list of hottest housing markets. And most people say this isn't the time to buy a house. It seems like it's hard to find the right fit for a lot of people. A lot of young couples have that down payment perhaps saved, but they just can't find the house they want to get into. So what's your advice on someone or a couple looking to buy?
I think my advice is largely prepare, right? So if you're thinking of this spring or this summer as when you're going to take another look, you want to be preparing right now. You mentioned that people have saved their down payments.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. You also want to get your credit score up and make sure you're getting any new lines of credit that you plan on opening out of the way, so that when you go through that mortgage process, you're not trying to do anything new financially and you're just focused on that. Yeah. You want to make sure that you're building that relationship with your local realtor early, because you want to make sure that when that inventory comes online, there's going to be more competition for it. Mm-hmm. So you want to really be ready to make the offer for that house when you see the one that you really want. And then you also want to shop smart, right? You want to set up proactive tools so that as interest rates change and as inventory changes, you get a sense of what you can afford that week, because that is constantly changing. It's not a static environment. So, Zillow's got a tool called Buyability that allows you to see on a weekly basis what you can afford and what's changing. And so you want to be prepared starting now, so that when the spring and the summer come, you've got a good relationship with your realtor, you know what the inventory looks like, and you're prepared to make that offer and move quickly.
Do you expect this spring and summer to be an active couple of seasons ahead?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very active season. It might be a little cold in Boston right now, but it's really going to warm up in terms of the housing market. Moving from a rank of 16 to 7 means, from last year to this year, means it's going to be a very tight and running hot housing market there locally. We're expecting prices to rise another 1.5% year over year, mirroring what they did last year. And there's considerably less inventory than there's been in the past.
Yeah, we might be back to people writing that check at the open house, right? If you're even lucky enough that it's still on by the time the open house happens.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's
Always
right.
tough. All right, Nisha Fisher, thanks so much. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.